All right, everybody. A relatively nice day today, and perfect time to be talking about side effects of medication. Right? Specifically, we're talking about some of the side effects of sildenafil, which is medication for the treatment of erectile dysfunction (ED), right? Which is something that I have stated before. I am, dealing with on a regular basis, and sildenafil has really helped. And again, I've tried, you know, just about everything else. Changing my diet, the gas station dick pills you get, meditation, affirmations, you name it, hypnosis, all that stuff. And the only thing that's worked so far has been the sildenafil, which is essentially a generic Viagra. I get it from a company called Roman Pharmacies. I'll put a link in the description below so you can see that. But yeah, there are like all medications. There are side effects. There are things you need to be aware of before you take it. Before you take any medication, really. And some of these can be pretty serious. Now, before I started even looking into, before I started to really seriously consider taking some kind of medication, I was looking at some of the side effects, and there are some people who take, Viagra, which is essentially sildenafil, who wind up dying, right? I think it's like a couple dozen every year. So that really gave me pause as to whether whether I should be doing this or not. But again, the other things that I was trying just were not working. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to take a relatively low dose. I take 40 milligrams of sildenafil, and that works out well. I might bump it up to 60, but so far it's so good. And again, I've only used it 3 times, so it's kind of a small sample size as far as side effects and how well it works. But it does work. So here's some of the side effects that you can get when you take sildenafil or Viagra, for that matter. Redness or rash, stuffy nose, headaches, stomach ache, nausea, back pain, dizziness or lightheadedness, muscle pain, irregular heartbeat, loss of vision, that's a pretty big one, chest pain, shortness of breath, and again, in some cases, very rare, but in some cases, death. So again, I've taken it 3 times. It's worked well all 3 times, and the first time I took it, I really experienced some dizziness and lightheadedness. Did not happen the next 2 times I took it, but the first time I took it, I was really lightheaded. I was not having a hard time walking, but I could tell, like, I was kind of not as steady as I normally would be. I did get a stuffy nose all 3 times, like right after. I said right after, sexual activity. I got a stuffy nose. Also, I haven't got back pain, but I've got muscle pain now, and I'm not sure exactly if it's caused by the sildenafil or if it's just my natural state. I walk a lot, okay? So after all 3 times after taking the pill, right, after sexual activity, I noticed my calves were not really in pain, like it wasn't excruciating, but it was painful, right? So that happened all 3 times. And again, I do walk a lot, and my legs do get kind of stiff and sore, but this was a little more than normal, and they did hurt. I had my back was kind of tightened up, a little painful, and then my arms were a little painful too. But again, it went away. Like by the next morning, I was fine. But that did happen, So there are some side effects. They are, in my case, relatively minor, not really uncomfortable, other than some of the pain in my calves at times. But again, it works well. I'm satisfied. My girlfriend is satisfied, and I would recommend it to anyone who is, again, dealing with ED. And it's difficult because, you know, as a man, you don't want to admit that you can't get an erection or you can't keep it, and you can't satisfy your woman, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever. But it happens, and luckily, I found Roman pharmacies. I did the online evaluation. It was relatively quick. They got into a lot of in-depth questions. So, know your heart, your blood pressure, and that kind of stuff. Know your past history, medical history, because they go into a lot of that as well. But it's good because it's very discreet, right? I'm not seeing anybody face to face going into a pharmacy, or GN or Walgreens or Rite Aid, and having to fill this prescription. It gets sent out relatively quickly. I think I got mine in like 3 days after I was approved. So it's a good deal. Like I said, I'm happy with it. I've used it 3 times. It's worked well all 3 times. So yeah, if you tried everything else like I had, like I said, diet, hypnosis, affirmations, the stuff you get from the gas stations and liquor stores, it just didn't work well. Some of it didn't work at all. But this sildenafil, this generic Viagra, actually works. Works well. So those are the side effects. Again, contact your doctor before you start taking it. That's what they say. My doctor, I did not contact her, which is kind of why I did contact her, because I didn't want her to know that I'm having these problems. But again, embarrassing. But if you do have any serious side effects, definitely contact your doctor. Go to the ER, whatever you got to do. But sildenafil works. Roman Pharmacies is a good place to get it. Again, I'll put a link in the description below. And yeah, it's a good thing. So that's all I got. I will see you soon.